I just found that kind of interesting that the only famine, real famine that can go back in the U.S. was during a Dust Bowl. So, where we at?
We just finished 57.
57?
Yeah.
Let's jump over to
42.
Yeah. Actually, I want to go to. Actually, I want to go to 47. Stay in Genesis. So I'm gonna jump ahead again. I know y'all may say, "Where is he jumping?" Let's read the whole thing, but it's a lot. So I just want to jump again to Genesis chapter 47. So everybody had to come to Joseph. All the countries, there was great famine. They had to come down to Egypt. We know that his father and his brothers, told him. Well, his father told him to go out and buy some food because we heard that Egypt has the food. So they went. Had the scenario of Joseph meeting his brothers after they did him wrong. And then they thought Joseph, well, put it this way, they thought that Joseph was going to mistreat them and try to revenge against them, but instead Joseph accepted them with his open arms. All right? But there's a process that went through the famine that Joseph was in charge where he had Egypt to even prosper even more rather than just having the food of the land. Okay, 47 and 13.
Gotcha. The book of Genesis, chapter 47 and verse 13. And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of famine. And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house.
Right. So now Joseph said, okay, now everybody's coming to buy from Egypt. So he collected all the money that he had, that the other nations came. So that he still had food. Remember, Egypt still had food to distribute out if they had the money. So he brought it to Pharaoh. So now Pharaoh's, he's like Scrooge McDuck. He's swimming and all. He's like, this is the best ever. So read on.
Verse 15. And when money failed in the land of Egypt.
So now it said the money failed in the land of Egypt. Are we looking at the same thing right now? We're looking at the failure of the American dollar, how it's depreciating, how inflation is eating up, the value of our money. Okay, big time. We can just look at once again at the gas prices, and they're not finished. By this summer, we definitely be at $7 out here in California. We were just down in Texas, and I think theirs was rising too, and they were screaming because they was paying $3.89. $3.89, yeah, and they were screaming about that. We're like, what? And their diesel, diesel supposed to be cheaper than gas. Their diesel was hitting $4.99, $5, and boy, I'm telling you, they thought like this is the worst ever, So then when we got off the plane coming back this way, I'm looking at them prices. I'm like, good Lord. And they gonna go up higher? See, and it hasn't hit the grocery stores yet. I wonder why. Things are high, but they're not as high as they can be based upon the gas prices. Because remember, the supply chain, that's got to take forth. So by the summer, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll tell you what, my eyes and ears will be open. And it's one thing as messengers, we would definitely let our people know, and collaborate with our people. Be like, yeah, see, it's going up again. But at $7 a gallon, man, that's the extreme. That's a lot. Go ahead. So the money on verse 15.
Verse 15. And when money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread.
Give us bread. Feed us. Money ain't gonna work no more. The silver and the gold, it ain't gonna work no more. Go ahead.
For why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. And Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fail.
Smart brother, huh? So now you looking at, Joseph looked beyond the money. So now they brought the gold and silver. He looking beyond that. Yeah, we got that. What else you got? Wow, you got some fat cows over there. They got to be fed, right? Good. Bring me your cattle.
That's a barter system.
Absolutely, Rasha. Absolutely. So now we're going to a barter system, like Brother Rasha said. So now it's the valuables that you have in your house or your farm or whatever you got. Go ahead.
And they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of herds, and for the asses. And he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year.
Wow, look at that. He took all that. And that's what happens, man. As one commentator said, it was true. He said, food is going to become more precious than metals, or more precious than gold and silver. Food is. And he said that's what's going to tip this society and all societies across the whole world, is when we have to, like you say, barter for food, just to stay alive. And it's true, because everybody got to eat. So it's food and water is the most precious commodity that keeps society in check. And when those things start to fade away, or those things start to get skimpy or get tremendously expensive, then we got a problem. And I say we because we have to live amongst those who don't have. So we have a big problem. And I believe that's what they're trying to push us towards. They're definitely trying to push us towards. So he got the asses. He even got the asses. He got the asses of the field. Joseph went in and said, yeah, bring me all of that. 18.
Verse 18. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, we will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also hath our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord.
Now check that out. So now they got the money, they got the herd, they got the cattle. They was like, what else you want? What is it that we can do? But we still got to eat. Just think about today. Like I said, think of today. Once they start to close down them grocery stores, it's gonna be rough. Go ahead.
There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands.
Now he talking about our bodies. So now they giving up the bodies now. Okay. And he said, and our land. So Joseph's like, hey, that's what you got. You want to eat, bring it. It's funny because if you think when he said that our bodies, I can't even repeat what I could say. Do some change for some strange things. Or something like that. You say
strange for a piece of change.
Yeah, for a piece of change, something like that. That's gonna be a whole lot of that going on. It's gonna be a whole lot of that. Can you imagine a can of peas and a can of corn? And a lady doing some crazy just to feed her babies. Yeah, just to feed her babies, man. So or a pitcher of water, or whatever the case may be. I'm hoping that those times don't come, but if they do, at least we're prepared in our mind to say, the Lord got our backs. So read 18 again.
Verse 18. When that year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, we will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also hath our herds of cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for the bread.
He said, buy us for the bread. Go ahead.
And we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh.
That's what Pharaoh wanted too. That's what Joseph wanted. Full control. Believe it or not, that's what these people that running this earth right now, that's what they want. Full control. And they see that through just by this precepts and through this in Genesis, that the money, the cattle, the land, Joseph got all of that. So now they become servants, and that's how they want to do us. That's where they're pushing us, right? So that we can become servants. Like I said, breathe easy. Okay, so now they're gonna continue to give that money until the money is worthless. Then after that, then they're gonna say, well, what you got? We got our land, we got our cattle, we got our bodies. Go ahead.
Buy us and our lands for the bread, and we and our lands will be servants unto Pharaoh. And give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land be not desolate.
Now check this out. So now it says, give us seed. Now that's very important too, because now even if you give them seed, they still don't have the
water.
Yeah, the water, exactly, the water, but the cattle, the cattle to actually plow the land, because they didn't have machines back then, But they said, give us seed so we can live. So Joseph even had the seed. He had everything. Everything. And Pharaoh, like I said, Scrooge McDuck, he like, look, keep handling it. Whatever they bring us, bring it. We'll divvy it up later. Go ahead, verse 20.
Verse 20. And Joseph bought all in the land of Egypt for Pharaoh. For the Egyptians sold every man his field because the famine prevailed over them. So the land became Pharaoh's.
So the land became Pharaoh's. Go ahead.
And as for the people, he removed them to the cities from one end of the borders of Egypt even to the other end thereof. Only the land of the priest bought he not, for the priest had a portion assigned them of Pharaoh, and did not eat their portion which Pharaoh gave them.
Ain't that something? That's like our law. The priest was given a portion of, the tithes that came in. So even the Egyptians had some type of standard for their priests. Okay, read on.
Wherefore they sold not their lands. When Joseph said unto the people, Behold, I have bought you this day and your land for Pharaoh, lo, here is seed for you, and ye shall sow the land.
Right, now you should sow the land, but if he owns the land, when it comes up, it belongs to him, right? Smart move. Very smart move. So whatever came up on the land, you're going to eat, but guess what? That portion right there belongs to Pharaoh. That belongs to us. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in the increase that ye shall give the fifth part unto Pharaoh, and the fourth part shall be your own, for seed of the field and for your own food, and for them of your households, and for food for your little ones.
Now he in full control, like you say. Give our portion, you got your portion, and that's what that little, I think, meme they putting out, saying that you will own nothing but be happy. Just listen out for that, because they pushing that type of agenda too, meaning that they want to own the government is going to own like your house, what they already do right now, but you will own nothing and you will be happy, meaning that they're going to feed you. You're going to be on their system, their program. Okay. 25.
Verse 25. And they said, Thou hast saved our lives. Let us find grace in the sight of my Lord, and we will be Pharaoh's servants.
See, they looking at Pharaoh like he can save our lives. When it happens to us and we come out of this tribulation, we're going to look towards the Most High. So we ain't going to look towards no man, because our people and other countries, they looking up to their governments. And their governments are the ones that's causing the problems. Okay, read on.
Verse 26. And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day, that Pharaoh should have the fifth part, except the land of the priest only, which became not Pharaoh's. And Israel dwelt in the land of Egypt, in the country of Goshen, and they had possessions therein, and grew and multiplied exceedingly.
So now, once again, the blessings have been poured upon the children of Israel, and we know throughout history, when it was time to leave Israel, the land of Goshen was not touched by, the plagues and that the Most High brought upon Egypt. Okay. So with that being said, I just wanted to pull that out, how Joseph was a businessman, and how the Most High prospered and gave him, that prophecy, and that same prophecy and promise lies upon the heads of us right now today. Okay, so let's go into Ecclesiastes, verse 12 and verse 10. Ecclesiastes 12 and 10. Because with that, and the history that's in this Bible, is something that, like, once again, we're going to have to refer back to certain situations that's happening to us today, and read it, of what happened to our forefathers in their time. That would give us more understanding and more faith for us to trust in our Lord and Savior, Mashiach Yahushua. So with that being said, we have to understand also our enemy, because like I said, this quote-unquote famine that they're putting out there, it's because of them. They are making things worse for the world, okay? And once we understand that, then we have, read 12. 12 and verse 10.
Book of Sirach, chapter 12 and verse 10. Never trust thine enemy.
See, that's number one. And when it says enemy, those who are prone to do harm to you, okay? And their whole agenda is to harm not only one person, but the whole nation of people. Okay, go ahead.
For like iron as rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching.
Now, that's what he did. He'd humbled himself. After we came out of slavery, then he started his sharecropping, still evil, okay? Then we come up to our modern times, still killing us, still looking at us at a certain way, still treating us a certain way. Because I said to be anybody, I say that it used to be public assistance. We used to call it welfare. I feel that they should have not given our people welfare because it made our people dependent upon them, and it also made our people lazy. If you had to go out and make a living for your family, we are capable of doing that. But they threw that stumbling block in front of us and had generations upon welfare. And that didn't help us at all. At all. As a nation. Individuals may have gotten off welfare, made their way prosperous, so be it. But I'm talking about as a nation. And they did this all across this country. I mean, there could have been a point where you could have been on it for a certain amount of years, but produced the jobs so that you can come off of it. But what they did was they took the jobs and sent them overseas. So it's all planned out how they did it. But as you begin to understand, then you understand who your enemy truly is. Because me personally, I think that if you go back to Exodus, what Pharaoh said that they have become mightier and stronger than we, right? Then I feel that if they would have gave us the general assistance, the public assistance, eventually the children of Israel would have prospered because we had no other choice. We'd have had our own businesses. And matter of fact, we have history to prove that when we had our own business, we prospered until they bombed us or they destroyed us. So that's a trap that they had got us in. And I will never, I can't get it out of my head because, we was on public assistance, in the south side of Chicago. Damn near everybody was. The whole neighborhood was. But, if jobs was there, like I said, we would have left their system, which is the government, and we would have did our own thing. Okay, so it's to never trust our enemy because as what?
For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him.
See, beware of him. We have to beware of him right now of what he's putting out there as propaganda about the famine. Go ahead.
And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away.
That's right, still there.
Set him not before thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place.
Mm-hmm.
Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words, and be pricked therewith.
That's right. He said, remember my words and be pricked therewith. Okay? We have to. Because like I say, even though I'm going to fill out for that program for that $1,000 a month, though, I'm going to fill it out. And I hope I get it. But I know how to put it in my budget to make, not only me, but my family here at Messenger of the Covenant, as well as my Israelite brothers and sisters who may need help. I know how to use it. Stay in Ecclesiasticus. Let's get 13. Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, and we're going to read 4 and 7. So he says, what he said towards the end, he said, remember my words, and
be pricked therewith.
And be pricked therewith. That's right. 13, and start at verse 4.
The book of Sirach, chapter 13 and verse 4. If thou be for his profit, he will use thee.
Right.
But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
That's exactly what he's going to do. He call it useless eaters. This is the reason why he's on his agenda about depleting the population, because he done the numbers. This is why he throw out his censors and all of that stuff, because he knows something that he's not telling the whole, or they know something they're not telling the whole world. But that's why they want to deplete the population. So he said, if he can use you, then I'm sorry, read that again.
Verse 4.
Mm-hmm.
If thou be for his profit,
right, be for his profit,
he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
He will forsake thee. And it's funny because Uriah had brought up how what's the basketball player that didn't take the vaccination? Kyrie. How Kyrie didn't take it, stood his ground, right? Mm-hmm. And then she was like, now they turn around and begging him to come back to play. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's how they move. That's how they move. So the scripture's line telling you the truth right here. If they can use you, they will definitely use you as a prophet, and will forsake you if you not producing for them. Mm-hmm. Okay, read on.
Verse 5. If thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yea, he will make thee bear, and will not be sorry for it. If he have need of thee, he will deceive thee, and smile upon thee, and put thee in hope. He will speak fair, excuse me, he will speak thee fair, and say, what wantest thou? Wantest thou?
What's thou? So now take these words to heart, because the Most High is telling you how this enemy is going to move. So that way, when you see him moving serpentile, you know to get out of his way and never trust him. It says never trust him. Read on.
And he will shame thee by his meats, until he have drawn thee dry twice or thrice. And at the last he will laugh thee to scorn. Afterward, when he seeth thee, he will forsake thee, and shake his head at thee. Beware that thou be not deceived and brought down in thy jollity.
In thy jollity. So he's telling you to beware of him. Okay? And we have to. We definitely have to. All right? One more scripture dealing with this famine. We got to go to Amos. Amos chapter 8. So the Most High put it down to say, look, watch this man. Watch your enemy. And he is your enemy because he's looking to destroy not only the children of Israel, but like I said, but to deplete the population as well. And he's going to do it, and he's telling us how he's going to do it by mimicking a famine, that the Most High, when the Most High come through with his family, we're going to know. We're definitely going to know. Amos chapter 8 and verse 11.
The book of Amos chapter 8 and verse 11.
Okay, this is another type of famine that's going to hit this earth when the Most High is ready for it. Go ahead.
Behold, the days come, saith the Lord God, that I will send a famine into the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the word of the Lord.
But hearing the word of the Lord. Okay, so we taking advantage of this right now. We taking advantage of the social medias. We're taking advantage of the internet and things like that to bring this word to our people. But thus said the Lord, it will be a famine of the word that's coming next. Okay, so take heed, Israel. Keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, and just know your enemy and know how this man is supplanting, to destroy and try to bring forth his new world order and his agenda. Okay, with that we say shalom.